some of the best advice I've ever gotten was this too shall pass from my grandfather, my parents, bosses, and mentors. And that's what we're going to talk about today. This too shall pass. Where does that even come from? What does that mean? How do we use it? Everybody's this too shall pass doesn't look the same. My name is Artemis, and I'm your favorite astrologer. And I hope you are having a wonderful day. But this too shall pass. Where did they get that from? Where did that start? Now, if you're like me, you grew up in the church, and we know that there's a time for everything. There's time to laugh. There's a time to cry. So when we start talking about this too shall pass, we're talking about every aspect of life because it's talking about the moon, and the moon in astrology, it represents your inner nature, your emotions. It can represent your mother, the common man, your subconscious mind. But today we're talking about just really your emotional nature because that's honestly what to me shall pass. Now I also study human design, and if you have a emotional center and you don't wait, you could be making bad decisions. So something I would tell somebody with an active solar plexus is this too shall pass because you have to learn how to ride the wave of your emotions to make a good decision. If that's in your human design, this too shall pass. Okay? And I'm a Cancer. I love emotions. I love to feel and I love to be nostalgic and get stuck. Well, I'm speaking from experience that this too shall pass, that it's not the end of the world. I'm speaking from a mother because sometimes we get tired. Sometimes we don't know where we're going to go next. Sometimes we don't know how we're going to make it. But even in those moments, those emotions, those feelings, when we really don't want to go on, this too shall pass. For people running businesses, guess what? Sometimes you want to stop. Sometimes your business goes through a down period. Sometimes you can't get no customers. Sometimes you can't expand. But guess what? Even in those moments, this too shall pass. Because guess what? The moon in astrology, well, not in astrology, the moon in real life just goes to the sky, and the position of the sky is the belt around the equator that you use as astrology, and it goes through those signs every 2 to 3 days. Okay, well, it's the ecliptic, excuse me, not the equator, but there's a belt that represents the zodiac signs along the ecliptic path of the earth, and that's where we get to find the That's the technicalities, y'all. I'm sorry. I just can't help it because, if you don't know the fundamentals, if you don't know the real, if you don't know how they got the information out the sky, well, you'll never be able to completely read what's going on over time. But this too shall pass because the moon is going to change signs every 2 to 3 days, which means how you feel, the energy that you're possessing, the energy as a collective that we're feeling as a people, human beings changes every 2 to 3 days. So that emotion is going to pass. That moment is going to pass. We have to stand on it. Now, depending on your moon sign, depending on how you may process information, how does it pass for you? What do you need to do to maybe assist it? Really nothing. So ignore that last statement because you could try to assist some stuff, but sometimes you just gotta wait. Like I said, in human design, if you have a solar plexus, it's a wave. So you just have to wait till the wave is done because once the wave is done, guess what you find out? You have absolute certainty and absolute clarity, and it's beautiful. But this too shall pass. Now, briefly, I'm going to talk about the moon, and I'm going to talk about what your inner nature, your emotions are like in brief. I'm going to do it based on the elements. So you have earth, air, water, and fire. Those are the four elements. Astrology, they're the four elements. Earth, it's the four elements. Okay. Now, of course, the fifth element. Pretty much everything. But this too shall pass now. Let's start off with fire. I'm gonna start off with fire one because I'm an Aries moon, baby. So fire signs include Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, and their emotions come quick, like the flame they are. Like it'll come burn up some stuff, and it can spread far, and it can spread wide, and it can spread wildly with no control. So guess what? You fire signs, y'all gotta make sure when you get emotional, you might go sit down and let it pass because reacting to the emotions inappropriately is fire scorches the earth. You know, we burn bridges, okay? We're not coming back across. Even if we wanted to come back across in the future, if you don't let the emotion pass and you do whatever you're thinking about, there's not going to be a bridge to go back across. We have Aries. Aries are known as the Aries moon, crybabies of the zodiac. And yeah, it's kind of true. I'm one. But I had to grow. We do grow out of it. People do change, especially as children. Whew. But Aries moon, you know, is over with. We move on very fast. As fast as we got mad, is as fast as we move on if we let it. Now, but just as fast, I could choose to knock your head off too, and then I could be going to jail. So, this too shall pass, Aries. Let it go. Now, you find yourself a week from now, it's still festering, go ahead and address it. You're also a cardinal sign. We got to initiate some stuff. We got to come out, okay? Leo. Well, Leos, they represent the sun. That is fire. Again, something that involved. Guess what? Theirs is big. It's going to be seen. So, when Leos, this too shall pass, comes, it's going to be visible to everybody. So if they choose to fight you or they choose to sit back, everybody's going to notice. Everybody's going to see what too shall have passed. You could choose to be petty, and you could have just been quiet, Leo. But sometimes you got to just let stuff. So, Leo, you're very personal. Take it to heart because it is about you, baby. You're the sun. You're the heartbeat. We know that. So you tell your heart that this too shall pass. Sagittarius, see, they already think they know everything. You can't tell them nothing because they're wise. And their mouths are big and they're blessed in the world with all of their knowledge. So when they're emotional, they're going to let you know because it is coming from a inner being of knowing that they're right. Sometimes they're not. But even this too shall pass. Sagittarius are the only ones that have a bow or an inanimate object as part of our weapon. There we go, weapon. In their zodiac, 'cause they react and they do kill. Okay, Sagittarius take it out. I mean, not fake kills. That's not nice. They will not. Every single Sag I know. I'm sure all of them aren't fighters because everybody's different. Everybody has planets. Blah 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 blah. However, Sagittarius sun signs, the ones I've read and I know and I've lived with, is my best friend and the father of my child. They fight. They ready. So she can. In the midst of their dispute, they'll pass the stage off. Well, it's the rest of the firefighters. You gotta go sit down somewhere. Go sit down. Go sit down before you burn some up. You can't. Then let's talk about air. So air also like fire is a masculine sign now. They didn't explain it, but masculine is something that exerts energy, where feminine is something else. That's it, y'all. That masculine energy is out of fire, of course. Air, again, very masculine. Whatever they get is gonna bounce back. They may not even notice it, but they have to ride the wave here, okay? Because this too shall pass. Gemini. In order for it to pass, you might have to go research. You might have to go see something. You have to go be inquisitive. You might have to ask a couple questions. You could ask a lot of questions. Gemini, you are going to ask a lot of questions, whether it's to yourself or somebody else, one thing. But you're gonna ask the questions with clarity you need in the moment. Libra, you're gonna balance it out. You're gonna y'all have this thing that you get all these options. And you're gonna go through every option. Even if you pick an option, you're always gonna be sitting here thinking about the other option. The one Libra picks themselves. Okay, it's okay to pick one thing. If it don't work, you pivot. But just ask, Libra. Like whatever you're going through, the universe is gonna balance that. It's gonna find harmony. Because that's why you're here. You're here to represent relationships and harmony with others, and balance with others. That's why you guys are the scale. And Aquarius, well, you can't tell them nothing because they know. Just as they know. I ain't got nothing to say because they know it's gonna pass. They know it ain't a problem. They just don't care because they need to know you know. And that's where they go wrong. Because they gonna make sure you know that this is gonna pass. And it's gonna pass in the way they want, but Aquarius, let it go. Even if you know. Well, how about yeah, because you know. That's why you need to go ahead and let it pass. So let's move on to Earth. Now, Earth signs is a little different. When it comes to Moon and Earth, emotions, for the most part, is not their thing. Now, Taurus, before the Moon is exhausted. Taurus can deal. They just don't really like it. Sometimes they get stuck in wherever they were in those moments. And Taurus, you could unstuck yourself. Yeah, Taurus, prone to this too shall pass. They're gonna go overeat. Taurus likes the nice, pleasurable things in life. They might oversleep. Under Taurus because you don't want to sleep it away. Because in 2-3 days, it's gonna pass. In 2-3 days, make sure you get up. You might have to go take yourself out for a very high calorie meal that you're gonna enjoy. Guess what? Don't do that consistently, day after day after day after day after day. It's gonna be a problem. You might just do it once or twice, but in 2 or 3 days, you're gonna feel different. You're not gonna want any of that anyway. This is too so fast for it. Don't get stuck. Earth signs can get stuck. And then you have Virgo. So Virgo, they get stuck because it's perfectionist and they want it to be right. They may know it's gonna pass, but it's gonna pass how they want it. Okay, and if something's not going according to plan, if it doesn't seem to have excellence in that resolve in that way, fix along the way. That's Virgo. They can't. They're here to serve, and they're here to serve because somebody has to know what perfection is. Nobody's perfect. But there's a part of us with everybody's every sign that knows Virgo, and Virgo knows what perfection is. Disclaimer because this is my new podcast. I talk about archetypes mainly, not necessarily. You might be a Virgo. I ain't necessarily talking about you. I'm just talking about Virgo, the sign, the archetype. Virgo, let it go, let it go, let it go, Virgo. Sometimes you gotta move on. Sometimes you gotta understand that it's not worth your stress to stress over the perfection. And you let it pass, let it go. Now, if it's still bothering you 3 4 days, you might need to address it. But in that very, 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 very moment, you may not need to address it because something I noticed with my Virgo clients and people I know, like my mom, y'all gotta let it go. Like, y'all gotta let it go. In 2 or 3 days, okay? In 2 or 3 days, because the other person can grow, the other person can change, the other person can show up and give you what you need if you let them. Virgo, y'all work so hard, okay? Let's look into it because it's gonna pass. Now, the week is still about go fix it, girl. Go fix it. Go, go, go. Capricorn, y'all work so hard. You work so hard. You can't see it past. Capricorn, y'all want to go uphill so bad. Y'all don't even want to listen to the emotion. Now, sometimes that emotion is telling you something. It's giving you a warning. It's trying to keep you safe and secure. Okay, safe and secure is the Capricorn Cancer. Some emotions are trying to keep you safe and secure. So sometimes you do need to listen to them. Sometimes you do need to address them. Sometimes sometimes you're gonna have to slow down and start working so hard. And then last but not least, we have water moons. So water is represented by the moon. So of course the water signs now we understand it, but it could be a struggle too. Because Cancer, I'm a Cancer sun. We feel so much. That Cancer energy feels so much. But more than anybody else, this too shall pass. Because being, if you're a Cancer sun, Cancer rising, there's a rulership by the moon. Cancer rising, you are ruled by the moon. Cancer sun, there's a very heavy influence. But that means every 2 to 3 days when the moon changes signs, your energy shifts. This too shall pass, Cancer. This too shall pass. Scorpio, guess what it goes. Scorpio, y'all hold on a second. Y'all ain't trying to let it pass. See, that's y'all ain't trying to let it. Y'all hold on. You never know when you gonna need it. You never know when that moment is gonna come back. You need to bite it into the bud. Just let it go. Okay, let go. It's okay not to feel so deeply, not to cling so tight. Because guess what? This too shall pass. Your water sign. That's what you know. You are the sign of death and rebirth and transformation. So guess what? If don't nobody else know what passing is, you do, because you done went through something. Again, I'm talking about the archetype, wherever it is in your chart. Scorpio, if you don't know how to get your chart, Google it. Scorpio, this too shall pass. Pisces, y'all just don't even know if it's passing or not. Pisces is about delusion, imagination. They don't even know if it's real or fake sometimes. That Pisces moon, it don't feel like it's gonna pass. Pisces are really sensitive. That's what makes Cancers crybabies because they got Pisces in the ninth house. So the ninth house is something you do on the biggest scale out of the houses. So just imagine being oversensitive. That's Cancer. This Pisces energy archetype, you are the most sensitive. So guess what? This too shall pass because that energy that you feel that you pick up on, a lot of you guys are empaths. This too shall pass. Pisces, sometimes you gotta see it first, but sometimes you don't see what's happening. Sometimes you're just making it up. Sometimes it's a delusion. That's what you gotta work on with the Pisces. But this too, so that's just a brief interaction of the inner nature, emotional. This too shall pass for this time. Um, but there's also the phases of the moon. Now, I went to Inner Magic Academy with Oyi Sun, and I learned about moon magic. I learned about GPS. So let's talk about the moon magic. There's 8 phases to the moon. Through every phase, there's something we need to be doing to get to our actual goal. It could be losing weight. It could be wanting to drink more water. It could be getting a new job. It could be creating a business. Whatever the goal is for you. Planting a garden. Whatever the goal is for you. There's 8 phases to the moon that can help you along the way. The best part about even the phases of the moon, it teaches you this too shall pass. Because a full moon ain't there forever. A new moon isn't there forever. Waxing and waning moons are forever, but they're consistent. Don't get it twisted. They are consistent. One thing God is in them phases, baby, they tell you some things. Now, the beginning of the moon phase is actually the third quarter moon, which some people call it. But it's when the moon is decreasing to no light. See, that phase is when it's time to plan, and then after you plan, you gotta plant. After you plant some things, you gotta clear out stuff. This is the new moon. So new moon is when things grow. That is true. That is when things start growing. But you're actually gonna see that in the gathering phase right after the new moon. The new moon is your moment to make sure that when it grows, there ain't no weeds. You done did the work. You done cleaned it out so it can grow. So that space to grow. So it's clearing energy. Because you gotta clear the energy. You gotta clear the stuff out, right? Before you get started. love how he described it when I learned about it. He said it's like a Amazon into your door. Beep, 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 straight up, right? Coming to your door and just unloading from the plans and the things that you planted. And now that you've cleared out your house, you might have had to throw away some furniture to get that new furniture. Have somewhere to go. You're gathering. So after gathering, what's next? It is our mind just went there. Dancing, planning, gathering, the scene phase. I'm so sorry. Scene. So the scene phase, that's going to be your first quarter moon, as some people call it. But that's when you really start to see that plant break through the ground. You get to see what's actually in the packages. What did you gather? What are you putting together? What is this picture that's actually coming together? What do you need to see to make sure your picture comes together? That's the scene. So in those moments where things start coming to light, remember things only come to light in a moment, in a couple days, fade. Because the moon is gonna move and this too shall pass. Now just because it passed, don't mean it ain't moon come back around to the same spot. Things have to be addressed. Life is a spiral. If you're a reflector in human design, life by the moon is just life. Because you may need all 28 days of that moon cycle to make a decision, which the moon cycle is slightly longer than 28 days. But we will save that for a different day. But 28 days, right? In order to go right and make a decision for reflectors and human design. So after that, you're gonna get to the leading phase. So leading at this point, you've cleared out everything, gathered some stuff, you're starting to see everything you have, you're doing the admin work. When you go full force, everything's in place. Your business owner, you know this is the foundation. Do you have your SOPs? Do you have your paperwork in order? Okay. Like, do you have the foundation built? Are you leading up to what you need to? Thing about that is you could do this, you could go hard, but when it starts coming back around year after year after year after year, sometimes on a solid foundation it's gonna fall, right? That means that means you're leading towards your goal, whatever it is. If you want to go 5 times a week to the gym, you're probably going for it. Lead it. Right? Now last now then next is the doing phase. This is the full moon. When the moon is at its fullest, whatever goals you set from that first quarter moon, it should be getting done. Like you want to do 5 times a week at the gym, you are going 5 times a week at this point. But this too shall pass. That feeling that you don't want to go to the gym, as you keep going, it passes. It passes. And then last but not least is the celebrating or using phase. This is when you use everything you get and you get to use everything you learned throughout the year or through life. What this phase is, but also the phase to sit down, relax. Because guess what? This is a year. You got another one coming, so you may need to sit down and reflect. This too shall pass. And those are just the phases of the moon and how to use it to set your goals. You gotta go to A to Z to know what your path is. In order for me to be the best astrologer in the world, I know that I have to be known. So guess what? There's something I have to go through. You know, there might be moments where somebody's leaving negative comments on my stuff. I'm so proud. I'm gonna have to ignore it. Even if when I get famous and everybody's calling me and I'm doing readings for celebrities, guess what? I can't get to it. So I enjoy it in the moment. But I gotta know it's past. I gotta know it's not something I'm always promised. People die every day. Too shall pass. So I am Artemis, and this too shall pass. That was the topic of the podcast today. I just want to remind everybody that this is but a pass. Everybody has their own unique way of processing their emotions. Like You hear and you digest mentally with Mercury, but your heart is where you hear and you digest emotionally. Because you know what, emotionally you got to move on. Emotionally you have to know that this is going to pass too. So when you start looking at this too shall pass, the inner nature, how to heal, look at your moon sign. It'll take you a long way. I am Artemis, and subscribe, follow, and share. And I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.